Hey, this is Harley from Rumic World. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the Urusei Yatsura Complete Musicbox set. This was released on December 1st, 1994. It contains nearly all of the music ever made for Urusei Yatsura, with the exception of the drama CD stuff. There was no remix album that was included with this. I think that came out a little bit later. It was sort of outside of the scope of what they were doing with this, and then No Dear My Friends album, which was the video game music. So all in all, this is about 15 hours of music, and it was only available through the Kitty Animation Circle. That was the official Kitty Animation fan club that dealt with Ranma One Half stuff, Meizan Koku releases, and some other non-Takahashi things like Touch by Mitsuru Adachi. So let's take a look inside, see what we've got here. The first things are just some ads for, this is the complete Laserdisc box set for the television series. As you can see here, Takahashi did some new artwork for that. And then this next piece was for the complete Laserdisc box set of the OVAs, which had just wrapped up around this time. There's the price for those. That was 40,000 yen, about $400 for that by today's standards. Then the really cool thing, let me set this aside, is the booklet that comes with the set. As you can see, the front here and the rear. Back in the 90s, used to see this image of one quite a bit on some websites. I know Mason, who created Tomobiki Cho for Rumic World, our website, used this, I believe. So let's take a look inside and see what we've got here. The first thing that's really cool are the interviews, the cross interviews. This first guy, interview number 1, is Shinsuke Kazuto. He was responsible for most of the early television series music, as well as the music for Urusei Yatsura Movie 3, Remember My Love. The next interview we have is Fumitaka Anzai, excuse me. He did more TV series music and the music for Movie 1, which was Only You. Moving on, interview number 3 here. This is Koji Nishimura. Nishimura handled the music tour music, the CD, which was entitled Music Tour. Again, that comprised a lot of television show music. Over here, this is Katsu Hoshi. Hoshi did some of my favorite music for Urusei Yatsura. That was the soundtrack for Movie 2, Beautiful Dreamer. So his kind of a laid-back sound, I really liked it quite a bit. But that was the only thing he ever did for Urusei Yatsura. After Hoshi, we have Toshiyuki Omori. Omori did music for Urusei Yatsura Movie 5, Kankatsuhin, or The Final Chapter, as it's more commonly known in English. Then number 6 here, this is Mitsuru Kotaki. He did music for Movie 6, Itsudate My Darling, Forever My Darling, which was the post-Final Chapter movie. And then finally, this is Shigeharu Shiba. He is the sound director for the entire series and series of films. He also worked on sound directing for Meizan Koku, for Ranma One Half, for the Maris, the Chojo OVA that was also released through Kitty. So those are all the interviews that were contained in the booklet. Then we have a really cool thing that's the perfect discography. This shows all of the CDs and albums that were released for Urusei Yatsura, beginning with the earliest one was in April 1982, and I believe it runs through this last release, which was 1994. So about 12 years worth of music here. It also lists all the track listings. So as you can see, there's just tons of music. I have to give Mason credit. He put together the discography for Tomobiki before this was out, so he did a great job just getting all the imagery prior to this being out. More music, as we can see here. some rare releases, some unusual compilations and things like that. Some music calendars up here. Stars on. This is the Urusei Yatsura Memorial Singles file. There's also a Maison and Coco and Ron 1/2 version of those that we'll probably talk about in the future. The gold disc, this was a limited edition, fairly rare, difficult to find, if I remember correctly, disc of most of the openings and endings. Then we have the visual discography. This is a collection of all of the VHS. These were the VHS for the TV series released in Japan, shown here. Some of the films, Love Me More, some sort of video disc for that. Chance on Love videos. The Symphony Urusei Yatsura, that's some pretty cool symphonic stuff put to animation. Let's see. This was done by Apricot Systematic. That's on disc 13, which we'll look at over here in a minute. Just again, more visual stuff. This is the Laserdisc box set, the ad for which I showed you Takahashi had done right before this came out. So all of this was contemporary right up to when this finally was released. Then we have a little bit about the extra song CDs. The extra songs are 2 CDs that can only be found in this box set. They contain music that's played maybe in a cafe during some of the scenes. These are some of the scenes that they were used in. They were never collected on any other CDs except for the 2 extra song CDs, which were packaged in this box set, so they're really hard to find. There was a similar thing done for the Maison and Coco box set. Then we see just lyrics for songs, openings and endings here. And finally, we have the music cue sheet collection, which is really cool. This has every episode of the series, and then it lists all of the music in the order that it's played. And it shows which CD that corresponding piece is on within this collection. So it's really cool. Any episode you can just look up here. Occasionally you'll find one that says the song was not available. That's not too often that you see that, but if that was the case, then it might be something like a Christmas song, Jingle Bells, something like that, that wasn't included on any of the CD releases. So that's all of the book, and it also here at the very back we just have the track listings for the CDs that we're about to look at. So let me